the same self.
New leadership at the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County. You'll meet the next CEO this morning on For the Record. Good morning, I'm Neil Heinen. It's hard to imagine that just 12 years ago or so, there was no Boys or Girls Club in Dane County. Today, one of this nation's most respected organizations for kids is firmly entrenched in our community in 2 locations, offering a variety of programs serving many hundreds of young people. 2010 marks another new step in the evolution of the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County with the hiring of new CEO Michael Johnson. Mr. Johnson joins me this morning, along with the organization's development and marketing associate, Hannah Wente. Hannah, Michael, thank you very much. Michael, welcome.
Hey, glad to be here. Thanks for having us.
Welcome to Madison. Where'd you come from? How did you get here? What's this all about?
I'm a boys and girl. I grew up in a Boys and Girls Club. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. Grew up in public housing in Chicago. Stayed in Cabrini Green. Stayed in a public housing development called the Abla Homes. And so you're looking at somebody that's a product of Boys and Girls Club programs. I recently came here from the city of Philadelphia. I was the Deputy Recreation Commissioner for the city. So I managed all of our recreation centers, 74 community parks. And what brought me to Madison, we're doing some great things for young people in this county. When I look at our iLife facility, when I look at our facility in South Madison, we're really doing some great things for young people. So over the last 17 years, I have managed Boys and Girls Clubs, YMCAs, community centers, and this is the type of work that I love doing. This is the type of work that I think I was led to do. And I have shared this story in this community. The neighborhood that I grew up in was probably one of the toughest public housing developments in the city.
In Chicago.
In Chicago.
Yep.
And if it was not for Boys and Girls Clubs, if it was not for other community organizations, Neil, I don't think I would be sitting in this chair today. And so Boys and Girls Clubs provided a lifeline for me. Boys and Girls Club was my home away from home. And I think Boys and Girls Clubs ultimately, kept me alive. And this is how I know why. I had an opportunity to go in to address the elementary school that I graduated from in Chicago. And out of 23 young men that graduated with me, only 4 of us is still alive. And so when I talked to my 4 friends that's still alive, I said, what was the common themes? We all came from single family households. We all were members of the Boys and Girls Clubs. We were all connected to a community of faith, and we all had a mentor. So when I look at the work that we do at Boys and Girls Clubs, we provide mentoring opportunities for young people. We invest in educational programs for our young people. We inspire them to dream. And the reality is, when we serve these young kids, we have to inspire them. We have to encourage them. And that's ultimately what brought me to Madison. When Boys and Girls Clubs did this national search, when I saw the level of programs that we provide for young people, when I saw, met the board and met the staff and had an opportunity to meet key people in this community, I knew it was the right place.
Well, talk about that a little bit more, because I think Hannah and I would agree, and a lot of people here think Madison's a great city, and it's a growing city, but you had a big job in a big city, and people might ask, why would you come to Madison?
Absolutely, absolutely. This, Neil, is my dream job. If you Google me, I have always said I wanted to manage a Boys and Girls Club organization. So I've been a deputy commissioner. I have managed, large, complex organizations, but the reality is there's challenges right here in Madison, Wisconsin. So Madison is not Philadelphia, Madison is not Chicago, but there's issues here in Madison that I think that our organization can support young people in this community. There's issues around jobs, there's issues around kids who really need us the most. When you look at the academic achievement gap in this district, the disparity gap is as high as some of the larger urban school districts. So you look at Milwaukee, you look at Chicago, we got kids that can't read, we got kids that can't write, we got kids that's not reading at proficient levels, and I want to be able to help the school district support our young people. And let me just take it back why I take this work so seriously. The school that I graduated from, I think I shared this story with you before. I went to one of the lowest performing. Right now, I got a master's in business. I got all the degrees that a person should have in this particular position. But I don't want a young person in our program. I don't want to give them crutches. I want to make sure that we support them and we give them the tools to prepare them for the future. So when a kid comes to Boys and Girls Clubs, yes, we want to inspire you. We want to encourage you to go to tutoring every single day. And that's why we have a college club program. That's why we have Power Hour at the Boys and Girls Clubs, because education has to be a primary focus. For even, like, some people see Boys and Girls Clubs as, yes, the positive place for kids. Yes, a place where kids can have a good time and have fun. I want our kids to learn and to be able to have fun at the same time.
I want to talk about some of the programs a little later in the show. And actually, Hannah, I get the impression that if we just let Michael talk, he would answer this. He would answer this question. But I do want to ask you, for our viewers who have followed the evolution of the Boys and Girls Club, and certainly Marcia took it to a new level. But what was the board looking for? What was it about Michael that sort of met the criteria that the board was looking for to move the club forward?
Sure. Well, we put together a search committee, and really we were looking for a strong leader, someone who could be the face of the organization, really come in, build and maintain those relationships in the community, do fundraising, and I think we found that in Michael. I mean, he has a really great background, as he said. He's had experience managing teams, managing volunteers, doing all the fundraising pieces. And he also has that X factor, which is that he grew up in a Boys and Girls Club. He really went through that experience, and really he brings that every day to the job. So that kind of passion is what we saw when he first came to interview in Madison, and we just are so happy to have him.
Does the board and staff have a strategic vision for, maybe the next 10 years, something like that, Hannah?
Yep, we're working on kind of developing that and kind of tweaking it now that Michael's here, and he's going to kind of take the lead on creating a good strategic plan, putting in pieces in place that he would like to see happen, and really addressing some of the new issues that have come up in just the past year, the increase in Hispanic population in Madison,
yep.
The increase in the achievement gap,
yep.
which keeps growing. So some of those new issues that are coming up are definitely going to be added into our strategic plan and kind of change.
And I'm going to talk about some of those. We'll talk about some of the programs that the club offers when we come back right after this.
Okay.
I'm back with Michael Johnson, who is the newly hired CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County. Hannah Wente, who is the Development and Marketing Director for the clubs, is with us as well. We've talked a little bit about Michael's background and how he got here. So tell us, it hasn't been that long, Michael, but give me your impression of the club as you find it. What are you putting your initial energies towards right now?
Absolutely.
And what's working?
Let me. I want to go back to your initial question around a couple of things. The board have asked me to go around town and to listen, and so I want to make sure that I understand what the issues are here in Madison. So we're doing this community assessment survey. So I'm going now, I'm meeting with parents, I'm meeting with community leaders, I'm meeting with key board members, meeting with staff, and really trying to define how do we define what the new strategic priorities for Boys and Girls Clubs should be. We are a community center, and I solely believe in order to serve a young person, you have to be able to connect the entire family. So I would say in the next 90 days, we'll be laying out what our new strategic objectives are. Now, you just asked me a question I didn't.
Yeah, no, it was. I wanted your impression of the club right now, and kind of what where you're putting your attention. Clearly, this 90-day period, this community assessment is part of it. But what else are you?
Let me tell you what we have done in the last 5 weeks. Our live facility, as you know, we built that back in 2006. unbelievable, state-of-the-art, 25,000 square foot facility. I am so impressed. We have a program called Avid Tops. And so that program is designed to encourage young people to go to college. So we have an Avid Tops steering board. Avid is a national program that's in 3,500 schools across the United States. We're fortunate to have one here in Madison. And so the school district runs the Avid piece of it. Boys and Girls Clubs manage what we call the Teens of Promise. So our whole focus is to expose young people to college, to provide them with an internship, a mentoring opportunity, and then Boys and Girls Clubs, through our relationship with our donors and our partners, raise money for young people to be able to go to college.
Are you in a couple of high schools? Or
we're in all four
high schools. The TOPS program is there in the building.
Yeah. In the buildings. And so we also go in and we support the teachers in the classrooms. And so one of the things that I'm so impressed by, when I hear a teacher talk about how we support them in the classroom, when I hear that our kids are academically doing better because they're in our Avid Tops programs, that excites me. And then two, when you look at our clubs, when I see young people, we got about 2,000 young people that's enrolled in Boys and Girls Clubs. And so when I see kids in our building to 8, 9, 9:30 at night, that excites me, Neil. When I see kids going to tutoring, that excites me. And then the reality is, if you have a strong volunteer base, there's a direct correlation between how strong your volunteers are and a correlation between how strong the organization is. Boys and Girls Clubs have a very diverse board, a very strong volunteer base, and our volunteers is really our lifeline for that organization. They help us raise money, they help us recruit volunteers, and they help support the day-to-day operations of the work that we do at our clubs.
Is there a volunteer coordinator, Hannah? I mean, what's the...
Yes, there is Allison Algram in our office.
Okay.
There's a volunteer coordinator, so all the applications come in through her, as well as the job applications, and then she kind of screens them, meets with them, sees what kind of program area they would be most effective in. So we have our education, our arts program, our gym program. So whatever the volunteers, kind of their background and what they would like to work with the kids on, that's what she kind of fits them with.
I don't want to leave this to the end either, Hannah. Talk about the annual lunch that's coming up day after tomorrow. It's on Tuesday.
Yes.
And if people are interested, there's still room, right?
Yes, there's still room. Definitely come out. It's our 10th annual Building Winners Luncheon. It's held at our Allied Family Center Club, and it's from 12 to 1 on Tuesday. As you said, really just a great event to showcase our kids. Our Music Makers program will be performing. They write their own music, their own words, and that's up on the screen right now.
Yep.
You can see the details and the address. And if you'd like to just come at the door, you can purchase the ticket at the door. Tickets are $75 for an individual. We also have tables available as well. So.
It's really become a tradition in the community. It's very well attended. And what's really fun about it is the young people who are there. It's an opportunity to see really firsthand, in person, some of the success stories with these young people.
Yes, and we have our Youth of the Year will be speaking, Shaquila Hoy. She just has a wonderful story. She's been through a lot through her life, so just how she made it to putting in college applications this year. So we also have a few of our Avid Tops speakers as well. A freshman and a senior will give their perspectives of the program and how it's helped them succeed.
And if I can add, I mean, it's really a true celebration. We're recognizing our Volunteer of the Year. There's a young lady that volunteers at our club 40 hours a week, and we feed our kids every day when they come to the club. And this young lady, she's been coming to our Taft Street Boys and Girls Club every day for the last 3 years, helping to prepare meals for our young people. So it's going to be a great celebration. I hope people can come out, and we're trying to raise about $40,000 to help support the work that we do at our Boys and Girls Club. So I'm really, really excited about it.
How you doing, Michael, in terms of serving the kids that need the services? And can you take in everybody that you want to take in? Are you reaching the communities that you want to reach?
I mean, our primary mission is to serve kids who need us the most. And so how do we have a motto, a tagline that says we want to dare our kids to dream, we want to teach them to achieve. That's our motto. So the one community that I know we have to focus on is the Latino community. So I have began conversations with Central Hispana and trying to work with them. Like 53% of the kids, we also have what we call an academic success center at Verona High School. 53% of those kids in that program is from the Latino community. About 12% of our members are from the Latino community, but I want to see more Latino kids in our programs. I also want to look at, you talk about like, I know this is a sensitive subject, but the gangs here is not as strong as your Detroits or your Chicago or your St. Louis, but there's a presence here. So those kids that are those borderline at-risk kids, I want to go out in the neighborhood, I want to go grab them, and I want to connect them to our club and expose them to better opportunities, whether it's in the community, outside the community, and to begin to get them to dare to dream, to connect them with a mentor, to connect them to an internship possibility. Because if we don't intervene early on, that kid can go the other route, and we want those at-risk kids to come to our Boys and Girls Club.
We're going to be back with Michael Johnson and Hannah Wente from the Boys and Girls Club right after this. Another event for the Boys and Girls Club is the Bike for Boys and Girls Club coming up Saturday, July 17th. Hannah, what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it's a great ride. We're expecting about 700 riders. It's been running for a couple years. Really, the focus is on getting teams together, so if anyone's interested in being a team captain, they can definitely, Michael would love to speak with them, or I would love to speak with them about having a team. We also welcome individual riders. Registration's $25. Great ride. We have a 10, 30, and 50-mile ride.
Guess what? I'm doing the 50. Yeah. Look, we got to raise. For me, I don't even want to say we got to raise. It's an investment in young people. And so I have told all of our volunteers, if we raise $200,000 prior to the event, I may start the night before, but I'm going to ride the entire 50 miles.
That's an incentive. Good fundraisers. You doing okay,
Yes.
Hannah? Is the financial footing sound?
It is. It's a little bit tough right now with the economy. I think it's just starting to bounce back. And what we've really seen is that the individuals have started to do a little bit better, but the companies are still feeling kind of the blunt of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
You mentioned Centro Hispano. Some folks may have read this past week that Peter Munoz, the long-respected leader in the Hispanic community, is stepping down from his role. So there'll be a new leader there. Colleen Kerr, an old friend of Madison, has come back to lead the Urban League. Those relationships, I suspect, can be very important. Are you looking at those as partnerships down the road?
I have met with Ken Craig, who's the new interim executive director for Centro Hispana. I've had lunch and dinner with Colleen. Let me tell you, this city is fortunate to have Colleen back. I mean, I have had an opportunity to talk about his educational priorities for this city, and he seems to be right on target. We had dinner last night with a couple of foundation people, and I'm very impressed. So I'm looking forward to working with Colleen, the new executive director at Centro Hispana. We got a new executive director from the YMCA, Carrie Wall. I have met with her. And so I think if we're truly going to serve kids in this community, organizations like Boys and Girls Club, Centro Hispana, our other community centers in the YMCA, and other organizations, we have to partner and share resources if we're going to holistically serve young people in this community.
And Madison has a unique environment. We have a lot of nonprofits here. And I think that what's unique about our organization as well is we really value those partnerships and really think that that's the most effective way. I mean, we're all there to serve the youth in our communities and to try to get them, better education and better opportunities. And I think that any partnerships we have are just wonderful.
It is. It's a trade. It's a hallmark, I think, here. United Way is so strong.
Yes, they are.
The University of Wisconsin is a resource, and I don't know what the relationship has been with the Boys and Girls Club.
The chancellor, The vice chancellor for the university is on our board.
Okay.
They also have a health program at our Boys and Girls Clubs. And then in terms of outcomes, as we move towards the future, Boys and Girls Club, you know, for me, what you don't measure don't get done. So with all of our academic programs, WISCAPE is measuring everything that we do in Madison Public Schools. And so we have a great relationship with the university. I think it can always be better, and we're going to always look for those opportunities.
All right, we just have 2 minutes left, and there's so much we could talk about. There's the specialized initiatives, and people can go to your website and see a lot of the things that you're doing. But when you think about Youth for Unity, Family Plus, Latino outreach, targeted outreach for at-risk youth, what are the key areas that you really would like to grow and focus on here in the near term?
Absolutely, helping to close the academic achievement gap.
It's huge.
That's a huge issue, but I think we got to tackle it. And Boys and Girls Clubs want to be a partner with the school district and others like United Way that's really trying to do something about that particular issue. So we want to encourage our volunteers, our donors to help fund programs that's going to measure those outcomes. So that's going to be work that we're going to continue to do, and we want to be able to enhance those efforts. And we're starting that process right now. Right now, we're in all 4 Madison public schools. We're looking at expanding that program. There's about 175 kids that's enrolled in that program right now. We want to take it to 350 kids next year. I can see Boys and Girls Clubs in middle schools and elementary schools. I want to make sure that when kids come to our club every day, that we're constantly tutoring them. We want to see more volunteers at the Boys and Girls Clubs, more outreach to the community from Boys and Girls Clubs. And so, in terms of education, outreach, volunteer development, those need to be some of our strategic priorities.
And folks can call, they can call you, and you'll help them get engaged in this stuff. Visit your website. Lots of opportunities.
Absolutely.
Yes, and volunteers, you'll take.
Yeah, we'll take volunteers. We have lots of opportunities, anything, if you have an interest in anything, as long as you're there to help the kids, we just welcome
Young
you to come
people
out.
too, huh? Maybe college students and that kind of stuff?
Definitely. We have a lot of students that come down from UW just to volunteer their time.
They do a lot of one-on-one tutoring at our club and our Power Hour program, so we're always looking for young people that can relate to some of our young folks.
Hannah, thank you. Michael, welcome.
Thank
Thank you, Neil. Appreciate it.
Have you on again.
Thanks for having us.
We'll come back and wrap it up right after this. My thanks to Michael and Hannah. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you next Sunday on For the Record.